is sacred. Rob Martier, NBC News Radio.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters1932.org.
Welcome back, viewers and listeners. You know what time it is. This is the James Kane Experience every Saturday at 4 p.m. on KCAA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. What a wonderful day it is. Hopefully all you have had a wonderful week. It's nice and sunny. And who really wants to leave Southern California? It's so beautiful. We hear of storms, snows, delayed flights, and we are in paradise compared to the rest of the United States, because you can go out in shorts right now and sit on your patio or in your backyard, barbecue, watching sporting events, and just having a brew or a mimosa. Thank you all for being here and giving me your attention for this hour. I'm your host, James Kane, and this is my inner circle,
Skittles,
the boss,
and we here to give you a great show for Black History Month. We're going to start it off not too much with news in the notes this week, but a little something that the Fed was talking about in finance, and he's been going through it, Powell, with our president. But he will be leaving office in May. So I guess our president got his wish. But I think it's just procedure.
Yeah.
And maybe whoever they vote in for the next chairman, the Fed knows what they're doing, and they planned this probably 10 years ago. But anyway, how's everyone enjoying their Saturday? We're going to go straight to what I call the Black cultural practices. And I have 10 of them that I put together because I get tired sometimes of people always discussing the problems. Or they just always talk about Martin Luther King, Rosie Parks, and the same old, when there's millions, and I say millions of other people that's in the Black community that do give great advice and was a part of building what started off as 300 and I believe 88,000 people who were kidnapped. And we're going to use that word because we're tired of hearing about slavery. Slavery wouldn't have happened if there wasn't no human trafficking or kidnap. I know you're like, oh, you're kind of harsh on the radio right now. But what I call facts that you should know. The boss. Let the people hear what something that they did not know.
Okay. So on February 6th, Maryland officially joined the southern states to disfranchise blacks. This actually didn't just start on February 6, 1904. It actually started in 1901 and lasted until 1911. This movement made it extremely difficult for them to vote. In 1901 to 1904, Democrats tried to manipulate the ballot to make illiterate and semi-illiterate blacks not able to vote. Many historical evidence shows that Maryland passed general measures to disfranchise blacks from voting.
Now, there's a big struggle right now in the Black community, kind of divided, and we all know a house divided can't stand.
Yes.
So we have a lot of division, and we point the fingers at the problem. It's about who's a Democrat and who's a Republican. Well, for us, as we've seen each party has done things to us that we probably wouldn't be Democrats today if we held that the Democrats affected us in some kind of way historically. And it's strange that a lot of the people in the 1800s and early 1900s was Republicans. So that's another day for another issue on why we do what we do. We vote the way we vote because our votes are important. If everyone say our votes are important, then why we can't come together as one organization like we used to? And we'll get into
Right.
some of those practices that we used to uphold in our culture that we fought to be heard. So let's get into some of these practices. The first one I would like to get into is our oral. But before I do that, I just want to say we're not talking about social media. We're not talking about things that tear down the black community.
Yeah.
We want to talk about the things that made us great and who we are today. We're 40 million strong, and if 388,000 make 40 million, we're progressing somewhere. We add, I think, 1.1 trillion to the United States economy. That's not losers. So we're overachieving, but why we look at ourselves as losers, I don't know. And that's something that we need to talk to our clergymen. We need to talk to who put out these movies, our actors that take these roles that make them look less thin. And we need a lot of conversation with ourselves other than looking at someone else.
Yeah.
So our history was born and it was forged by sometime segregation. It was forged by institutions that didn't want us to achieve. And our practices still matter today is because we did not let those times dismantle us or demise us. We continued to grow, and it became a cultural thing, not an African thing. It became a black American oral tradition and storytelling. Oral tradition and storytelling, we could not read. It our sermons were history lessons.
Yeah.
You were prevented from reading, and our testimonies was our living experiences, and we live through them. Our elders made sure that the children understood the education we needed, who were who, and our families. And what? Because at certain times we were displaced. Now, call and response is number two.
Yes.
You used to hear the music, you hear it in conversation. It was a collective communication. It was in the world that tried to silence us, we use call and response as we hear, I see you. You're my brother. And we made sure everyone knew that they didn't speak alone. And that's really the story of Martin Luther King. It's because a lot of what he did was a collective for the people. And the people was for him as well because they marched, they understood he had a voice, and his voice was powerful. So we went beyond just having someone who can speak for us by doing and having actions among themselves. Now, the black church was different. We went to church because we had freedom there. Our belief started building. Now, we have other blacks in our community that are not Christians, but during those times, Christianity came about to not just give us freedom, but take our freedoms away by saying this is who you supposed to be. This is right. Now we all know because we're in 2026 that was wrong. We know a lot now, and
Yep.
we understand. But it's one thing that we need to understand is sometimes the sin of the father comes down on the children, and we can act like it never happened. We know they're trying to take Martin Luther King Day and take it from a holiday. We know they're trying to do a lot. And the reason why I say we know and they know is because they're saying one person, but we know it's a system. And it's always been the system. That's where Maryland joined the South to defranchise. At that time, we were looked upon as Negro, black. Let's think about that.
Please.
You're human capital, you're viewed as a slave, a product, and you're defranchised because when you use a franchise in business, wow, it's a business that someone else has that they're willing to sell you so you can look like them. Sounds like integration to me. Daughter, can you do number 4 and number 5 and number 6?
Oh, yes. Okay, let's talk about extended. Because families were torn apart, we built new ones. Play cousins, church mothers, big mamas. That uncle who wasn't blood but showed up. Black families have always been about responsibilities, not just DNA.
Now, this is a good one because today they always talk about black on black
Black
crime. They talk about the reason why the black men and young black men
Yeah.
are out of control is because they didn't have fathers in the household. Now, systematically and historically, we always had that because they took, which is, first of all, I want to say that is true. We need strong men in the house. Everyone needs strong men in the house. But right now, this is, we're coming into the Black History Month, so we're talking about Black history. So we want to know, what is black culture? Who are we as a people? So that's why I'm bringing this up. So I grew up without my father. But I always had a black man in my household. My stepfather, I wouldn't give him up for the world. He was amazing. He came
That's
from
great.
Louisiana. He found his way. He's a veteran, military man. David was the coolest cat you would ever meet. Always, he had a balanced personality. And we wasn't his children, but he was the man of the house. And my mother made sure we respected every black man. And him as being the man of the house, we must respect him as well. She grew 4 men in that household. And he was the 4th man, the head of the household. And I had 3 brothers. And we all respect him to this day. So the notion of that, because the father of the siblings was not in the house, or the children was not in the house, there was no black guidance. It's because we always had a house. We lived in apartments, but my mother made sure we always knew property was important, and a black man was important, and she raised us such. So we need to talk about that, the role of the stepfather, even the stepmother. But the man has been torn down as he has historically, as you see, as my daughter read, that the man was displaced. He was taken. And that's a system and a practice. And we need to stop practicing that because there is a push for more black fathers to be at home. And we're having problems with our women now. It's because they trying to use that as an excuse. Listen to our rap, our lyrics now. The same thing women cried about men saying to them, now they're using it every day in music, which is okay if that's the way they want to express themselves because
Right.
they're young and they don't know no better. But for us that do know better, let's keep teaching and respecting our youth. And maybe the youth will come around because more times out of 10 when we were younger, we were kind of dysfunctional as well. We thought our elders didn't know what they were talking about. But now we see that we need our elders
Yes.
more than we ever need them before. Is because what happened in the future can come back. No, what happened in the past can come back to your future.
I
Sorry
agree.
about that. Next one, Donna.
Speaking of music, remember spiritual wasn't just song. There were coded messages. Blues told the truth with laws wouldn't. Jazz bent the rules. Hip hop reported the news. Music has always been how black Americans process pain, joy, protest, and identity.
Now we're going to get into music. Because right now, they don't even speak of jazz. 'Cause see,
No.
jazz, when I grew up, when you go to a jazz club, people dress.
Yes.
Hard-hole shoes, slacks. Remember the Freddie Astaire, water beads. Everybody dressed.
Yes.
And the whole vibe is about whatever was going on in your life at that time, we're just going to push it to the side.
Yes.
Because there was some hard times in the 60s, 70s, which always been in America. But we would go party. We would have fun in them jazz and them horns. And it's something about music, live music, when you're on them drums, when you're on that horn, and you just playing the violin, everything that music have, its essence. Now, let's talk about the blues. See,
Oh, love the blues.
yes, because the blues was telling you things that the law.
Boy,
Oh no,
yes.
it wasn't just about going out, boycotting and all
Yes.
these things. It was just telling you how love your woman, love yourself, and watch out, because they trying to get you. That's why they call it the blues, stomp down, because it came out of spiritual music.
Yes.
Because they used to be in there, all that hard work. Remember, a lot of people, depict us as lazy. But if you look at all the old movies and a lot, who was on top of the porch drinking tea and doing all these things while other people was out there making the money, working hard. But all of a sudden, in the 80s, 90s, because of the drug epidemic, now we know who was really bringing it in. We're going back to a system. And some people say there is no system. But as we look upon it, and we come every year to this time to look back on what has transpired last year, we look at systems. Just remember that, systems. Because if you don't deal with the system that's tearing you apart, then you just will be torn apart. You better pay attention, because people out there mean you good, but there's a lot more mean you no good. And I have an old saying a friend of mine's taught me. Everyone's cool, but you can't be cool with everybody.
That's a good one. Let's talk about food. Soul food didn't come from luxury. It came from necessity.
Necessity.
Thank you, necessity.
And luxury.
Taking scraps and turning them into nourishment. Sunday dinner wasn't just about eating. It was about gathering, checking on one another, and passing culture down. Food became memory you can taste. I like that.
Yes. We would we would sit there and have a great meal. Soul food, what it said, it was soul, it was love.
Yes.
Some women got to get, because see, at that time we didn't have social media, so they would get in that kitchen and they would be tired. Oh, it was one day, that was on Sunday. For some reason, we were given Sunday. Well, they told us it was the Sabbath. I'll say the word Sabbath. You know, I like to say it's Shabbat, but the Sabbath. But but we know now it's the first day of the week. So we were bringing our week with love, food. That if you look in history, it wasn't the best food. They gave us slop, and we put it together. That's why when I was younger, well, we used to talk about soul food, and I used to look at my mom and say, "Mama, this is slave food. This is what they used to throw to us. I don't want to eat that. We have enough money. Let's eat." Because I was thinking about integration. I wanted to integrate to someone that wasn't like me or struggled that my family went through. And my mother looked at me and said, "Boy, this is not slave food. This is soul food. We took this and survived off this. We made this into a wonderful meal." And she was Creole and black. And I tell you, her beans was so good, those ham hocks. And they always, now they tell, "Oh, well, that food wasn't good till you gave you high blood," which it does.
Yes.
But they live to be 80, 70. How many people now can't say that? And we're on a health food kick. The last, 20 years, we've been talking about, food that don't eat certain food. We don't. Our seasonings have changed. A lot of things has changed in California as far as food. Also, soul food.
Yes.
Soul food, we have taken the love out and just using it as a brand. We don't understand that we need to go back to that and feed each other, because we have homeless out there, and they say that the black community has one of the highest homeless. But if we go back to our old cultural practices and our foundation of who we are in black America, we will not have homeless people starving, because we used to go to the parks. It was always barbecue. There was always something going on in the community that they said our communities were underprivileged. But we didn't see it. It was fun. Remember when we used to catch the bus to the churches and we used to eat watermelon food and get lunches and had breakfast? There's so many kids out here hungry right now. They go to school and barely, some of the food they giving these kids, if you ask your kid, "Hey, how was your breakfast? How was your lunch?"
It looks like slop.
Look like
And
slop.
and yes, so that's nutritious. Sometimes the elders need to listen to the young, because there's an old commercial. You can learn a lot from a dummy. Meaning, not saying the youth are dummies, it's that the youth sometimes are brilliant and smart, and they see things like entrepreneurs. They're looking beyond what we know, and we get stuck on what our teacher told us. There's a book called Lies My Teacher Told Me, and just the saying of that caught my attention, because I found out a lot of my teachers lied to me, because I wouldn't say they lied. I would just say they didn't know fully, because they didn't have access to information. They didn't have access to what we have today. So let's get back to the soul food, cooking with love. And I'm a firm believer. It's okay to love somebody, but it's better to care for them as well.
Yes.
Because we have so many people out here that love people, but they're not caring for them. And it's okay to care for somebody and not love them, because caring is like giving. And that's what it's about, is always giving, slow to take. Because if we can give each other something that someone don't have, guess what? Your blessing is flowing over. And you can take that and hopefully nourish it and grow like good grass. Can you read the next one, daughter?
Yes, let's talk about respect for elders. In a black culture, elders was our libraries. Even when names were lost, values survived. Sit down and listen. Watch how they move. Remember where you come from. Ancestral memory is how we stand rooted when history tries to erase us.
Wow. That stands alone. When we was trying to be erased, I would say this. We need to really dig deep into that one. I won't go in too much further because that sets a lot. It took me back to music. You know how right now hip hop is looked upon as being demonized.
Yes.
Because the things that our young people are saying, that it wouldn't even get airplay when I grew up. And it's starting to take from what was hip hop. Hip hop was a movement that young kids, as myself at that time, our voices wasn't heard. And what was going on in our neighborhoods, everybody took a blind eye to. So
Yeah.
when we came out with hip hop, we were talking to each other. Then, like always, a system took it and said, you know what? We can get them to believe what they're rapping about. And
Yep.
then it went into gangster rap
Rap.
and so on and so on. Now I call it sexuality rap, where everybody got to tell you about their body parts
Yep.
and who's this and what they want, and I'm getting paid and this. And we know majority rappers, probably 9%, is not getting paid. 10% get paid very well because
Yeah.
they're keeping the movement going for the system. But what is it doing for the black community? You're telling us something that we already know, and a lot of us live well beyond, will live a lot more years than a lot of the young people that's preaching hip hop. Not saying something wrong with hip hop, but right now, everyone needs to take a step back and see where do we want this in the next 10, 20 years. And a lot of you young people are starting to have kids. How do you want your kids to be? Do you want your kids to be like you talking? Because I don't. And in my household, no. It's okay to listen to rap and stuff like that,
Yes.
but keep it respectful. That's all I'm saying. Is because I'm a hip hop fan. I went through the gangster era and all these different eras of time. But I knew when I became a man, I was going to act like a man. I'm no longer a child, so I won't act like a child. And I will put away childish things. Yes, that's a scripture. You can go read it. Not saying it's mine, but I enjoy saying it. Donna, can you tell me the next one?
All right, let's talk about Black American English. Black American English isn't broken English. It's structured, creative, adaptive. It allows us to communicate openly with each other while protecting ourselves in hostile space. Code switching isn't confusion. It's intelligence is born from survival. I liked it. That was a good one.
Now read that, just the title one more time.
Black American English. Black American English isn't broken, everybody.
Now, this was a survival mechanism. While and I used to say that too about ebonics, slang, and all these different words. But you notice now, you go in Merriam-Webster or Oxford, and the slang words is in the dictionary now. We
Wow.
used to get ridiculed, popped in the mouth,
Yep.
speak good. Now, I'm not promoting speaking slang or whatever, because when you go into an establishment, you speak as they speak.
Yes.
You learn how to speak proper English, speak well, fluently, open your mouth, and all these things. Like Marcus Garvey says, brush your teeth. Always look ready to be ready, because sometimes when people see you, they see your culture. They see people that they're going to meet after you. So in their mind, they see you and then you run around here looking terrible. Guess what? They're going to think, oh, black people are terrible. Hollywood has depicted us kind of horribly, made us look like savages. All we want to do is sell drugs, fight, kill each other. They think all black people are is Crips and Bloods, but they didn't speak about our parents when they used to go work in the paper mills, when they used to be at school. They were teachers. They were honorable citizens of Americans. There were black Americans who strived to be better, honest. They didn't have drug money. They didn't want drugs in their house. Why we can't never speak of these people? It's sort of our ancestors. Speak about our ancestors other than just slaves. I'm so tired of that word. Like, that's all we are. So I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to stop speaking about it. I'm going to start speaking about other things. Entrepreneurship, finance. There's so much we can talk about other than we were slaves, because we are so much more
Yes.
than slavery. Because if you're just a slave in your mental, the system is going to view you as a slave because they want you as human capital. They want to take it and make more off of you than they're willing to give you. Slave labor still exists, and you know it and I know it. And there's other nationalities right now that's going through it. The things that we went through and survived, we can just say ICE. Now everyone's starting to see, hey, because they ran out of jumping on us, so now let's jump on somebody else.
Yep.
And that's a fact. That's not just something I'm coming up with. These are things is because, like they want blacks now, is to come in and help out. Why y'all not fighting against ICE? Truthfully, we always fight for injustices. But sometimes we just got to sit some out and let the people that didn't fight for us, when affirmative action was being destroyed in California, how many other nationalities came and fought for us? They don't want to talk about that, but they'll say they did, but
Right.
you can see by the votes. We go back to the votes. What'd you call it, daughter?
Wait, I
What was
wanted
it?
to say something about the language.
Well, hold on. What did you call it? Defranchise?
The franchise, yeah.
So, but go ahead, continue.
Language isn't something that you just speak. I remember looking this up because I saw it on YouTube and I wanted to research about it. Many black people in the 1400s used to use their hair to also communicate. It told a lot about their social status, their martial status, and how wealthy they were, and also their age and their ethnicity, like where they came from, rather they came from, if they were born from America, Louisiana, Africa. The hair told a lot, and it wasn't just like, you didn't even have to speak. You can look at someone's hair and it would say a lot.
Now, the next one we got is collective organization.
Yes.
Organization has been with us through the existence of the black American on this soil. Our institutions, everything we have done from boycott till today. Right now, more of our organized as a collection speaking out is on social media. You have your good and you have your bad. You have your Dr. Boyce Watkins, then you have your Charleston White.
Yep.
So you get it all. And it's okay for me in my experience. Because remember, this is the James Kane experience, and if you want to reach out to us, you can go to James Kane experience.com. But anyway, a lot of black movements are about each other. We see how the movement called Black Lives Matter just at first it was honorable and then it just came dishonest.
Yes, it did.
And that's not, it shouldn't be a reflection of a whole, but it is. And it's sad that every time someone does something in the black community, the whole community has to suffer. And see, we told y'all, so though we got to keep our foot on their neck. We got to keep these people uneducated. Because when you educate yourself, when a person talks, you don't have to be belligerent with them. You don't even have to argue with them. You can look at them and say, man, look at this fool. Mentally, you can just say it to yourself. Sometimes some areas don't say that. Yeah, you can get put out your your apartment. You can get put out of a restaurant because one thing that I want to know is this. It's kind of harsh, but why a lot of restaurants that's not, I would say white, because a lot of white restaurants hire blacks.
Yeah.
And you see blacks are hire whites in their restaurant. Blacks hire pretty much in their, what they call black businesses. And as you can see, the economy for that is slowing down. It's because most people that's non-black don't buy our food. And we need blacks to buy black-owned food. For instance, groupism. We got probably 20,000 taco stands.
Yes.
You can only make a taco a taco. Make a burrito. How do they all survive when they're pretty much making the same food? Groupism. They stay together and say, okay, I'm not going to let my people fail. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying it is because maybe in the black community, we need to start using that concept.
Yes.
Instead of putting your brother and sister down and saying, oh, they trying to do this, won't you integrate to something else other than other people and integrate it to yourself? Believe in yourself. Be who you are, because you come from a strong. Think about it. Just sometimes turn your Tubi on to a history lesson, not just some dysfunctional movies that they're not going to even. These are actors and they're acting. They don't live that way. Majority of them don't. Some of these people, like athletes and other as a collective, I never understood. This is just me. Why a millionaire celebrity or football player wants to become a gangster rapper. That is all I can say is this, is I believe that's asinine. Why? We listened to rap and everything back in the 70s and the 80s because we wanted to get out the neighborhood.
Yes.
Into a more prosperous neighborhood. But we didn't understand, just buy our neighborhood up. See, now they have enough money where they can buy whole communities and live. And when you're talking about, equality, that's what we should have been fighting for. Integration should have been fighting. We shouldn't have gave up our communities. I'm just going to say that. Our community, we should have kept them. I grew up in a black community in Pomona. Now you look at Pomona because the people just didn't honor their cornerstone. The Bible tells you that. Do not sell your cornerstone. But everyone let people demonize their community and say, well, this community is not good.
Yeah.
But they came up and bought that community. Now Pomona, you know how much that property is worth in Pomona? Ask a real estate agent.
Gentrification happened.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does. But it don't have to be.
Yeah.
You know why I say this is because one thing in the black community, a lot of times, not all, but majority of times we always talk about the problem. But I call it strange. And the reason why I'll call it strange, because we should be talking about change. We know when you build it up, someone, the system, is going to come try to tear it down. But they've been trying to tear it down for 400 something years. And look at us, we're beautiful. We're here live at KCAA
Right.
on 106.5, 1050 AM. And we're talking about black culture other than Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. Now, you see, I didn't say Booker T. Washington because Booker T. Washington and the HBCUs has put out educated black
Yes.
men and women. And they still have, and they still are. Because they had a purpose. It's because something about Booker T. Washington and W.B. Du Bois was education and manual labor and technology. It works. It works today. That's what we need: systems, technology, entrepreneurship. Yes, developers. All these things. Now they have all the black kids thinking they're gonna be gamers because first it was rapper, now it's gamers, and they don't really.
Influencers.
Influencer, content creator.
Yeah.
It went from you wanting to be a radio host to now everybody, you know. So maybe we need to stop being strange and work on change. Can you read the next one?
All right. The last one, joy, humor, and celebration.
Yes.
This one matters deeply. Laughing when the world accepts you to break. Dancing when the system says you shouldn't exist. Celebrating life anywhere. Joy become an act of defense, and it still is.
There we go. Black people, when they used to tell you about dance, jigaboo and all that stuff. We didn't believe them. We still dance. We still party. Even to this day. Because partying and dancing and joy, everyone does. It's not just one nationality. It's all.
Yeah.
Everyone want to have a good time, a good drink, wants to party. So don't let no one demonize you.
Yes.
Like, enjoy. But don't overdo it.
Yes, people.
A party has to come to an end. You can't live your life wanting to party, wants to be at the club, wants to do these things. That's somewhere where you done worked hard all week and you want to go somewhere when you have extra money. Because if you haven't saved no money, why are you at the club? Why are you wasting your gas money and then you're crying about it and then next you know, you're going to be talking about, oh, they're going to take EBT. Well, maybe if you save some money, you wouldn't worry about EBT. You wouldn't get EBT anyway. And there's nothing wrong with getting EBT because it's supposed to be a start and it's supposed to be a means to an end. You take something and you make it grow because when it grows, it gets better. And that's all I want you to be in 2026 and beyond is better. Because if I believe in you, who am I? So you must believe in yourself. Because if a stranger believes in its community and its cultural practice, we just gave you 10 great historical
Yes.
cultural practices that's been practiced for 400 something years, continues today. So when someone tells you, oh, what is the black culture? Like they do on BET or Sirius FM. They play some rap music or some and me knowing back then that was behind the scenes music. It wasn't front of the scene. It wasn't now. You know, Snoop Dogg, he's brilliant, but Snoop Dogg knows some of that stuff he say, man. He don't want his kid growing up like that. I guarantee his kid ain't growing around doing drive-bys and nothing else.
No, they not.
So, man, come on. Stop it. So, who are you in 2026? Are you going to be part of this 10 cultural practices, or are you going to be a part of a dysfunctional culture that can't last? Individualism can bring individual success, but as a whole, it would never bring you success. It will only tear you down. Anybody have anything to say about this topic?
No, but I can. I am gonna close it because I do like what your closing. It says these practices wasn't handed down in textbooks. They were carried in bodies, voices, kitchens, churches, and streets. Black American culture is not accidental. It is intentional, resilient, and earned. If we understand these foundations, we stop asking, why are black people like this? And start asking, how did they survive so much and still create so much?
How did we do it?
Yep.
You got to ask yourself out there, yeah, how did they do it? Because when you look at our history, you say, wow, these people are amazing. Because a lot of people go back, and that's why it's a controversy
Yes.
on who's the real Jews, who's this, but they missing the point. Hebrew. The word Hebrew means people across the water. Now, Ethiopia, and if you don't believe me, the word Ethiopia means burnt face Hebrews, given by the Greeks. Now, there were Jewish people that lived in Ethiopia in the mountains. They was calling them ancient people. And some of their ancestries is in Europe today. I mean, sorry about Europe. I'm thinking about the Ashkenazi and the Sephardic. They're in Israel as we speak. And the reason why I know this is because I was studying to become a black Jew. Well, I wouldn't say a black Jew, 'cause that's what people used to call me, because I studied Judaism for about 3 going on 4 years, and I was studying under a Hasidic. And they're pretty, people would say they're strict, but I enjoy their lifestyle, and I respect them to the fullest is because they believe in what they believe, and they are together. They are what we use, always say, groupism. They're for the betterment of their people. And you won't see them. They rap, they like music, they dance, they do all the things. You know, they have differences. You know, conservative is different from the Hasidic and on and on. But you'll never see it. You don't see Hollywood depicting them, you know, as gangster rappers. And there's Jews, young Jews right now. They say the same thing. There's a lot of people, Africans, Europeans. You go around the world, K-pop. Look at K-pop. Before, when you see little girls dancing and all that, back in the 70s and the 80s, that was, oh, they trying to be fast. They trying to be, now it's that you have other nationalities doing the same thing. Oh, she's cute. Oh, she dances so good and this and that. Because K-pop is all, my daughter tell you all about K-pop. You know, 1, 2 K-pop. I got to turn it off in my house, but I do not stop my daughter from looking at other nationalities and educating herself and having a good time with other people. It's just don't take away from yourself.
Yes.
Because just as much as they're important, you're important too. See, I believe everyone's important and everyone is entitled. So if you believe you're entitled to something, I believe I'm entitled to it too. And what gives you more right than me? Because we're both citizens of America. So, yes.
I would like to say something. I feel like schools should really pay attention to these principles, especially schools that mainly have black people. Like I went to 2 black schools. I'm in one right now. I feel like they should really pay attention to this because maybe like a month or 2 ago, I had a talk with my principal about what we're gonna do for Black History. I told him, can we not really talk about Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, stuff like that? And he asked me why they had such a big impact and they were one of the biggest people. And I wanted him to realize that I feel like they're really big people. They have done really good things. But if you really look at the most famous people, you will realize that they're light skinned. No, like really big people like Martin Luther King are really dark skinned like that. And I feel like we should really like look at them because I forget George Washington Carver. Yeah, he's like famous, but he's up there like what's it called, Martin Luther King is, and we should really look into George Washington Carver because I remember doing a project about him, and he's very interesting. His life is very interesting, and he was dark skinned, and I feel like we should pay attention to the dark skin too. We shouldn't just pay attention to light skinned people because Rosa Parks, she wasn't the first one who stood up and did the whole movement. Um, Claudette and I forget her last name, but she did, and she's starting to finally get recognized. But she's already older now. People are starting to finally get recognized when they're already about to die. And
Wow.
I feel like the black schools that have black principals that try to like really make their school black and cultured shouldn't just like talk about Martin Luther King this, Martin Luther King that, and then if a student goes up to them, they ask why they should talk about other people. It should be obvious why, because we already know so much about Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King Jr. Why can't we learn about other people? Because we would want everyone who made a difference in black culture to get recognized too. We shouldn't just have this all about the light skinned people or the people who supposedly made like a huge drastic
Drastic.
deal. Yeah. I personally I like Malcolm X, even though he's light skinned and famous too. I personally like him more than Martin Luther King. I feel like his if they would have went about how Malcolm X would have went about it, I feel like we would have had a lot more change now.
Um, I think there's a lot of people in the black community would agree with you. They both was great men. One was different. One at that time, Islam wasn't accepted among the masses. Christianity has always been accepted because it was exploited in the black community to educate us, but also make it seem like it was accepted to have a master. But we grew out of that, and we grew out of a lot of things. Like I said, history, the technology we have now, we understand, and they deemed Malcolm X as being what you call it, a black militant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
whenever
he wanted to fight a lot and he didn't want to just sit there and let them pick on them. And I wouldn't say that's what Martin Luther King Jr. wanted, was to get picked on, but I feel like he wanted to go in a more peaceful way when we
Yeah.
see that so many people who followed Martin Luther King Jr. died because by being peaceful. Malcolm X didn't want that to happen. Malcolm X wanted them, if they touched them, he wanted them to fight back. He didn't just want them to sit there and let them die. He actually wanted to lead them into victory.
well, it's called I forget the word, directive action. It started before Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King didn't create the peace movement
Well, we
while
know
turning
that.
the other cheeks.
Yeah, we know that.
Malcolm X was more by any means necessary. What he was saying, whatever it takes to get respect in your community, that's what you do.
Yes.
Because a man is a man, no matter what his color is, black, light, brown, white. A man is a man. And as a man in our communities, we were always taught to stand up, be strong, protect your family,
Yeah.
provide. And that's in every community. If
Yes.
you look upon it, if you look through history, we can go back to Napoleon, we can go back to Caesar. All these people, it's the same thing. Men will be men. And they just wanted us, not to continue because it's called dominance. If you make a man weak, everything around him becomes weak. And that's what it's about. That's why I say you're strange if you don't want change. It's because we're they are trying to dominate you again. And when I say they, the system, as you see, everything is changing and everyone's doing the blame game. Illegal is illegal. And we have voted people into these positions to do something about being illegal. But why there's some people, mainly with money or mainly who has power, can do what they want to do, and then everyone wants to talk about it and saying it's illegal, and it's against the Constitution. But isn't that what you getting paid for? To represent the Constitution? So are you going to give some of that money back? I doubt it.
Well, good thing we have all until February to talk about Black history. But we got to close to the end today, listeners. Take us out, Jane. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a beautiful show because I lost time. That was the quickest hour that I ever done on the show. And this is my 6 months. Oh, we getting better.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to say this. As I always say, if your life is not going right, regroup, restructure, refocus on what you have left. Tune in next Saturday at 4 p.m. because this is the James Kane Experience, and you can find me at James Kane
Yes.
Experience.com. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Southern California's Mind Spring. The legends you love and the best talk.
KCAA Loma Linda. KCAA Loma Linda. KCAA Loma Linda.
KCAA, where life's much better. So download the app in your smart device today. Listen everywhere and anywhere. Whether you're in Southern California, Texas, or sailing on the Gulf of Mexico, life's a breeze with KCAA. Download the app in your smart device today.
I'll be sailing out of yesterday in the Gulf of Mexico.
KCAA.
If you don't have gas in your home, but something doesn't smell good.
Ew, what's that smell?
If it smells like rotten eggs, there could be a leak in your neighborhood.
Now what do I do?
If you suspect a leak, move fast, call 911 and Southwest Gas.
From a safe location.
But I don't have natural gas in my home.
Gas lines are buried all around, so even if you don't have gas.
I know, call 911 and Southwest Gas.
This January 30th through February 1st, the legend returns. The 76th annual Grand National Roadster Show cruises into the Fairplex in Pomona, the oldest and longest running indoor car show in the